according to Maggie. Is it, or do you not know?
Yeah.
Come check.
There.
Live and going? Perfect.
Great, thank you. All right, I'll call the August 18th, 2026 regular meeting of the Cook County Grand Marais Joint Economic Development Authority to order at 4:01 p.m. Commissioners present include Clissold, Mills, B.B. Gudice, Anderson, Benson, and Shackleton is joining us remotely. So just as a reminder, we'll do all votes by roll call, and Commissioner Eliason is absent today. So the agenda was provided to commissioners in advance of the meeting. Is there a request for any additional changes or additions? Motion to approve the August 18th agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Mills. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. I will do a roll call. Mills.
Aye.
B.B. Gudice.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Shackleton.
Aye.
Nice. And Clissold's an aye. Okay.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. For votes to count, we have to be able to see mark.
Thank you for reminding me. Commissioner Shackleton, would you mind turning on your camera?
Right.
Sorry, Mark.
That's fine. I'm trying to figure out how that works. It indicates that I am on my video. Hold on.
I think there is a physical,
No.
That work?
I was gonna say there's a physical slide that goes over your camera, I bet.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah, you have an external one?
Oh, big.
Thank you for pointing that out. Didn't know that. New laptop.
The IT, that's
Yeah.
good. Okay.
Let me know what else you got.
Thank you.
Okay, any members of the public that wish to speak to items not on today's agenda, please state your name for the public record. Seeing none. Okay, minutes from the regular July 21st, 2026 meeting were provided in the agenda packet, I believe pages 1 through 4. Any changes or discussions of those minutes?
Yes, I'd like to make one edit to this
Please.
minutes on page 4. Committee and Commissioner reports and the Taconite Harbor Subcommittee. I'd like my name replaced with Wakefield.
There we go. I'll move to approve the amended minutes.
Good. Any other changes? No. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sure, thank you. We'll do a roll call vote. Mills.
Aye.
B.B. Gudice.
Aye, yes, I
Thank you. Anderson.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Shackleton.
Aye.
And Clissold is also an aye. Okay, next item is a review of the financials. And this starts on page 5 and runs through page 17, inclusive of the EDA balance sheet, bill approvals, and the balance sheet for Superior National, as well as the 2025 and 2026 Business Development Fund Grant Report. And I'll turn it over to Commissioner Shackleton.
Addressing the EDA, January through July, year-to-date, budget and expenses are in line. Two things of note: the miscellaneous services are the North Shore Business Development services that we pay for that was not invested in the budget this year, so that's why it stands out. And the legal stands out as well. That's because of the golf course sale. Cash on hand is healthy. We just received a levy again last month, so cash position is strong at $585 and $130 again in the money market. We do owe the county $200,000. And the golf course year to date, it's holding up pretty well. We had kind of a weak July because of the fire smoke and Running Water's closing again, so traffic was down. But mostly the difference is between membership sales. We're not selling as many memberships, obviously, because we're selling the golf course. Otherwise, things look in line to where we were last year, and according to budget is again. Cash on hand is sitting today about $375. We have accounts payable, payroll, sales tax, things, it would probably drop us down to around $300,000 by the time we close.
Okay, well done. Any, please.
Question, thank you, Mark. Regarding the memberships, are there just 18 hole, just rounds sold to make up for that almost? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, what I'm saying is that the golf revenues were down slightly in comparison to last year, to date. And the two reasons were the wildfires in July, and then we're not selling as many memberships because of the upcoming transaction. So,
Thank you.
with the sale of the golf course. So,
Gotcha.
Great. Any other questions for Commissioner Shackleton? All right, seeing none, the EDA Commissioners accept and forward to audit the balance sheet as of June 30th, 2026 for both the EDA and Superior National. Is there a motion to approve the July 2026 payments?
So,
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We'll do a roll call. Mills.
aye.
BB Goodichay.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Shackleton.
aye.
And Clissold is also an aye. Okay, that takes us to item number 6. We get into the new business. And this first item is Resolution 2026-27, approving our first amendment to the development agreement with the Mayhew LLC. You'll find background information on pages 18 through 32. And I'll turn it over to Director Wakefield for some background.
Sure. So as a matter of housekeeping, as we were looking at the IRRR grants that we have on file and what we're reporting on, I'm supposed to turn this on, what it became evident was that we're going to likely run out of time on our Mayhew agreement, both between the EDA and Mayhew and the EDA and IRRR. So it's going to be our intention to file an extension with IRRR as well, but on our end, what we would need to do is determine whether or not we feel comfortable extending our agreement with the Mayhew. I think a lot of this can be placed on it taking much longer than originally envisioned to put together the finalized capital stack for the developer, which has meant that the work that they expected to have done by now that would have spent the IRRR funds has not yet happened. So therefore, obviously, we have nothing to report, nothing to pass through. So I just wanted to get this approved on our end, and then I will separately handle anything that we need to do with IRRR extension. So, questions on that? Concerns?
Clear? Okay. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2026-27?
Yep, so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Comments? No? Please.
Just beyond that, is there any other concern? I mean, it just seems like timing, and that's fairly typical for a lot of projects, especially this size.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like I've gotten a number of updates from Joel and have interacted with other entities with which he's interacting. It seems like things are moving forward. I think that it took longer than anticipated to finalize the capital stack is really what it amounts to.
Okay.
And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think he's got it finalized now.
Oh, you will be quoted. In fact, there's minutes being taken.
Yeah. Sorry, don't hold me to this as being correct, but you can quote me. That's true. But yes, my understanding is they're very close. I've been interacting with entities who have affirmed that they're working with SBA and other partners that would sort of close out that loop. And I believe if it's not done, it's all but done. So
Yeah, that's consistent with my understanding as well.
Our council packet says August 26th.
Cool.
Great.
It's not August 26th yet, but. Were you going to say something, Sarah?
I was gonna say, I apologize. I think I was supposed to recuse myself during this discussion. I did not leave the room, but I wasn't actively making eye contact or looking at anyone's. I think my presence is just, okay, sorry about that.
What is is there a conflict of interest pertaining to this particular matter, or, there was a conflict based on the grant that Mayhew applied for, but this is a separate issue. So I'm just clarifying, is there, what's the recusal based on? Is it just on a conflict of interest, is that's all?
No, just,
You don't have to say,
more
I'm just
broadly
curious.
speaking, just conflict.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm just curious, it's.
Out of caution, excuse me.
Abundance of caution. That's a better way to say that. Thank you, Commissioner Mills.
Sounds good, thanks.
Okay. All right, I think we've already had a motion in the second, if
That's
memory
correct.
serves. So we'll go to a roll call vote. Mills,
Aye.
E.B. Gudice,
Aye.
Benson,
Aye.
Shackleton,
Aye.
and Clissold is an aye. So 2026-27 carries. Thank you. All right, that takes us to 2026-28, a resolution approving a development agreement with the Housing and Redevelopment Authority. I see Jeff Brand here. Hello, Jeff. Of Cook County and Ardoba Lofts LLC. And I think Lucas can give us some background on this one as well.
Happy to talk you through it, although I will pretty quickly turn it over to Jeff. As a point of order, I see that we have, is Ryan the representative of the developer? So we do have one of the developer's representatives on virtually, if you have questions for either of them. But ultimately, as you know, the EDA is acting as fiscal host for dollars relating to a project that the HRA has been quarterbacking, and the city's been involved as well, wherein we found a developer to pick up and run the ball to the finish line here before we run out of time on our grant. So I would highly recommend that the EDA choose to sign this agreement, because I think if we don't, we'll be planning to hand back some cash in short order.
Jeff, you wish to?
Here, I'll
Certainly.
let you have the floor here, my friend.
Thank you, Lucas. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Jeff Brand, Executive Director of the Cook County HRA. And I just want to take a moment to thank you for taking a look at this developers agreement. The way I look at it, I think there's a big partnership in this development in the city of Grand Marais, the EDA, of course, and also the HRA. But also, I would be remiss if I didn't point out the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency with their $1.3 million contribution. And in short order, for us to turn around and find a developer this quickly, I also have to give a moment of credit to Vision Incorporated, who is also represented by Ryan on the internet today. We were in a situation where we had to switch developers. We didn't have anything moving forward, and it became time for us to do that. Otherwise, we were at risk of losing those dollars. And so we were able to come to an agreement here, and that's before you here as well. HRA voted unanimously in favor of it back on the 29th of July at a special meeting, and that is a little bit in line with what our needs are when it comes to our timeline. The timeline is to begin construction on this project yet this year before the snow flies, and who knows what the weather's gonna do in October and November and December. But I do know the developer needs about a month once the agreement is completed, and we have all the agreements in place between the city, the HRA, and the EDA for the construction to kind of logistics, to find the contracts and to sign those contracts. It takes about a month, so every day that we wait is a delay for construction season to possibly get away from us. But I'm here before you here today to answer any questions you might have, and from that I'll just return it back to the chair.
Yeah, I've been involved in this for a couple of months, and I do make a couple of points. And it's my view that we're not simply rushing into the arms of Ryan and his team out of desperation. He's proven to deliver quality, and he's got the confidence of many in the community. Just by way of background, of course, it's, his involvement in Gunflint View was proof of that. And just for those that aren't aware, this is the property adjacent to the current WTIP building, okay, on 61. One thing that I think we'll need, not just from the developer standpoint, but I think more broadly, would be a timeline, just so we can all have a good view into whatever approvals are required at the city level. Contained within that, I guess, would be the developer's timeline itself, plus whatever is on either end of that. That will give us, I think, further confidence that we're on the right track. Because as you point out, the clock is ticking. We've kind of burned X number of months already, and kind of restarting at this stage.
Yeah, I might remind you that I sent, that Ryan had sent something to me and I had transferred that to everybody, the EDA and the city, that there was a timeline in place, but that was back in June, and so we can tighten that timeline and get you an update on that. The goal was to have construction done at the end of 2027, perhaps in November, if everything works out the way it should, weather-wise and otherwise. But definitely before the clock runs out on the grant, which is January 1st, 2028.
Good, thank you. Any questions for either Jeff or Ryan who's online?
I don't have a question, but I'm really grateful for your work, and Ryan for your work and your work with the View. Really excited that we can continue on this front and get some more housing, so thank you.
Great.
Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate your support, as always.
Commissioner Anderson?
How many units is it expected to be?
For me or for
Number
Ryan?
6, right?
Yeah.
16. Yep.
And that's a grant requirement. I've asked this multiple times, I just wanna make sure this is the deal. Cause it says in here no less than 16, cause I asked could it be more, and then somebody at one point has said, no, it has to be 16 based on the terms of the grant, but I'm kinda unclear just because of how it's stated in this development agreement. Is it capped at 16? And that's the plan, right?
Yep, that's the plan. If we make any substantial changes to the project, I was told by Minnesota Housing Finance Agency we'd have to requalify for the grant, which means we'd have to give it up. So it's basically set in stone with what we have for the number, yeah.
The other piece, I just like and this is page 43 and 44, is just to explain and review in general, everyday terms, how the affordability works in this.
I don't have the document with me, but hold on one second here. You said page 43 and page 44?
Yeah, rental restriction, it's outlined there.
Let's see here. 43, we talk about current or changed market conditions. If either party reasonably determines that the material and unanticipated changes in the market impair the project's continued financial viability, the party may provide written notice describing the relevant circumstances. Basically, what the HRA is doing is contributing $100,000. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. It might not be on your
Rental
side.
restrictions?
Pardon?
Are you looking at the rental restriction?
Yeah, I don't know what are you looking at
That's just
our
the next
agenda
paragraph
packet,
before.
or, and, oh, you know what, that maybe my paging here is different than the paging on the
Yep.
literal, oh, I don't know, it says page 8 on the actual pages.
Article 6,
Article
Part
6.
B.
6.
Article 6, rental restrictions. Okay.
Thank you.
So
Sorry,
the
guys.
developer agrees and commits that during the term of the agreement set forth in Article 8 below, at least 5 of the apartment units will be made available with designated affordable rents as determined by the Minnesota Housing Financial. Yep, at 60% and 80%, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, just describing it, is there any, I can't find it right now, but I believe there's an option for that to change depending on needs to fill space, but I'll let you summarize this.
Yeah, so if you go back to the actual intent of the grant as outlined by the legislature when they passed these dollars and made them available back in 2023, and then later modified and changed in 2024. What it was is just a market rate housing project funding mechanism from the state of Minnesota. And so at the HRA, we came to the conclusion that we also wanted to allow some of these rents to be at the 60 and the 80% of the market rate, or AMI. And so we made some additional changes to that to make it so that there's more affordability options that were available. In doing that, sometimes there is a challenge in terms of trying to fill those different apartments. Let's just say one apartment, I've got an individual who's coming to the state, or to the county rather, to the city, but unfortunately they just don't qualify for that type of a rent. And then after a certain amount of time is outlined in this document, it would trigger it to go to a market rate. And then the next unit that becomes available would trigger back to, or revert back to, the 60 or the 80% AMI that it was at one point. That does help a little bit from the developing standpoint, because of course they want to build a project, but they also would want to not have vacancies that are sitting there for 6 or 8 months or anything like that. But it also helps to qualify people to come to our community in the future if that room or that apartment is filled with somebody else. And so there's a little bit of an opportunity here to kind of be flexible.
I think that's very reasonable, like you said, to make the project feasible, but also to try to align with our priorities.
Yeah.
And then to be able to go back to it. Once it's lost, it's not forever lost. It's the next qualified of a similar unit. So I
Exactly.
like that flexibility. Because we ran into that with Woodson, kind of, a little different, but similar.
And then the very last sentence of the paragraph, it explains the 10% difference too. So maybe if you want to just put that in an easy, part of this is always our conversation is for our listening audience.
Yeah. So this is something that started with my predecessor and the Gunflint View back when it opened in 2020, the end of 2024, and then it transitioned to my working here in 2025. An agreement that was in place allowing for some flexibility in qualifying some folks to get into those different rents at those different rates. Essentially what that would do is that would allow some flexibility. Let's just say you make $300 more per year. That's the breaks. Sorry, you can't come to Grand Marais and live here. Versus having that flexibility, that would allow somebody to actually move to Grand Marais and live in those rooms. We have also since discovered that the folks at the Heights were interested in doing something very similar, and so I had a conversation with our lawyer at Freiberger to say, hey, look, this is kind of something that's an unwritten thing, and I'd really like to have this in the books. I'd really like to have something drafted. He's in the process of still drafting, and unfortunately, this developers agreement took a lot of air, and the local housing trust fund, which we're going to pass tomorrow, or not pass tomorrow, but we're going to discuss tomorrow at the housing redevelopment authority meeting, took a lot of time to put together, but we're going to have that discussion in September about the other thing I was just talking about. Basically, what this will allow us to have is some sort of a policy in place for, again, a little bit more flexibility when it comes to qualifying people to come to Grand Marais and live in the community. I did ask the Heights themselves, I asked Gary Latz over there, of the 36 units that you're renting, how many people qualified? He said if we go off of the 2025 rents of the 36 apartments that are available, 2 qualified. But if we go under the 2026 rents, which it is this year, they had to go off of 2025 last year because, of course, there was a plan to have that done in 2025. but now it's in 2026. There's actually only one person that lives there that qualified. And so this isn't a drastic amount of people, but again, it does provide a little bit of flexibility to get people to move here.
So just from a practical standpoint, where it says 60 and 80,
Mhm.
I'm a simple person, I can just read that then to be really actually 70 and 90?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of 60 and 80 then if it's really 70 and 90?
Pushing the envelope.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a good question. What I would say is that this provides a little bit more flexibility, especially with this development. Again, going back to the point that I was trying to make earlier, Minnesota Housing Finance Agency only wanted this to be market rate. And in fact, we lost points in qualifying because it wasn't market rate, but the HRA felt strongly that we wanted to make sure that we got people through the door that fit the needs of the entire community, not just one section of the community that can afford it. And so, all things considered, at the HRA, we are putting in $100,000 in upfront money to get about 10 years worth of these AMI rents from the developer to offer to the individuals that are going to be renting there. And so this is part of that negotiation.
Thanks.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair,
Please.
thank you. I appreciate that flexibility because much like health insurance, Minnesota Care, or medical assistance, or any of the social programs, including this, it's very easy to just make too much.
Yeah.
And then, nope, sorry, no housing, or nope, you don't qualify for health insurance. And so, especially in our area, there's some interesting dynamics with wages. So I'd say significant disparities, and just having that flexibility, I think, can help a lot of people. There's a similar situation with the North Star development. There's people who are like, oh, I make too much to qualify.
Yeah.
And there's other people who are like, well, I don't make enough to afford it. And so finding that spot is very difficult. So having flexibility is helpful, just as long as, we're all on the same page of what our values are, really trying to get this. And every project's gonna be a little different. So step by step, I hope we can get further and further to, helping the groups that we're really trying to help. We are, it's just not all at once.
And the reason why we did $100,000 in upfront costs because we have those ARPA funds that have to be expended by the end of this year. And we do know that the developer is going to have upfront costs in development of this project, and so it makes sense. We don't have any additional flexibility with the dollars that we get through the state of Minnesota and the Department of Revenue. We do as a county, each of the counties and some of the bigger cities get some rental assistance dollars that we can use for making AMI rents available in communities and counties across the state. We used to have $83,000 per year coming into Cook County, but unfortunately there was a haircut on those dollars in 2025 to the tune of, I think we got $38,000 instead of 83, so let's transpose those numbers. And then in 2026, it looks like the numbers have gone up slightly to 43,000, but it's definitely nowhere close to $86 or $83,000 that we were getting in 23 and 2024. And so all of those dollars that we have dedicated to the projects we have at Gunflint View, and we've dedicated to the projects at the Heights. And so this is our best attempt to make sure that we had those AMI rents at a third development for multifamily in Cook County, especially here in Grand Marais.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to clarify something I mentioned previously. So I've come to understand that 60 and 80 holds, the 10% variation is on the income itself, the numerator, if you will, not the denominator.
Correct.
So, okay. I feel better about that.
I need clarification, sorry. I'm even simpler than Commissioner Clissold. You said just one person at the Heights qualified for the AMI rent? So we have this housing that's intended for low-income family, but no low-income families applied?
No, I'm sorry. So the folks that, the flexibility, only one individual,
I see.
yep,
Of
gain
the-
access to it.
Of the AMI
Yep.
rents, only one used that 10% thing.
Mhm.
I got it.
So like at Gunflint View in the last year, because they just opened up last May 2025, so it's been about a full year. They have to provide us with evidence that shows that the people qualified for those individual rents, and we have to check that with their incomes and that sort of thing. And then from there, we sent a check for $40,000 to cover those AMI rents as the 16 to 80% last year. And then we'll be doing that with the Heights. We agreed with the Heights that we would do it every 6 months instead of every year for them, so they requested it, and that would help them with their books and that sort of thing to make that work. So we did that a couple of months ago at the HRA meeting.
All the units that were intended to be reserved are in fact going to lower income families.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, and that will be the case here as well. 11 of the 16 units will be AMI rents of 60 or 80%.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited about the project for sure. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2026-28?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or comments? All right, seeing none, we'll do a roll call. Mills.
Aye.
B.B. Gudice.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Shackleton.
Aye.
And Clissold is an aye. All right, congratulations.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Good job, Ryan. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Ryan.
Lucas.
Thanks for being on, Ryan, appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Appreciate the support. Look forward to the project.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is 2026-29, a resolution acknowledging repayment of the loan agreement with Gunflint View and authorizing repayment of the Cook County loan.
So this is very good news, as I'm sure you're all aware. First of all, the EDA contributed, or essentially lent to the Gunflint View development $200,000 that helped them get across the finish line. And they had a period of 1 year or shortly after refinancing to repay that money. They began refinancing and therefore repaid the money much earlier than we were kind of expecting them to, which is a good thing for us. But it means that we now need to release any lien that we have on their title there, and also we need to repay the county that we sort of collateralized some county money with against this. So it'll be a pass-through, but I think that the final amount that came in was just a hair over $208,000, and that included the interest on the money. So it's a good thing. Don't really have anything else, but if you have questions, I can probably answer them.
No, I've never been more happy to stroke a check for $200,000. It'll be principal.
I'm almost as happy.
It'll be principal, a little piece of interest, and a great deal of gratitude to Cook County. So please pass that message along, Commissioner.
It's more weight than I can carry, but my darndest.
Okay.
What was the interest rate in the county?
4.
I remember the discussion.
Somebody can check.
Okay, is there a motion to approve resolution 2026-29?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Sorry.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? No? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Mills.
Aye.
B.B. Gudice.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Shackleton.
Aye.
And Clissold is also an aye. Approved. Okay, this next item is administrative. We do this each year. It's 2026-30, resolution authorizing annual insurance renewal and approving of a non-waiver of statutory tort liability limits. And this is all too complicated for me to understand, so I think Lucas can pick it up from here.
Just need basically you guys to allow us to go and renew the insurance that we get through the League of Minnesota Cities. It's exactly the same policy as has existed previously, and we're just renewing it.
With an option of like waiver or not waiver, and we go no waiver each year, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, no changes.
yeah, it's unchanged. I probably should be more informed as to the
That
specifics of
last
it
part
myself.
trips me up, but yes, this is
Yeah.
no change
Yeah.
from the last several years, I believe.
correct.
I don't remember if I've asked this before, if we talked about it, but have we compared with, or do we not qualify for just the Minnesota Counties Intergovernmental Trust? And if there's, I don't know if there's benefits or not.
I'd be willing to check into that for you.
Next time.
Well, yeah, if you wanna renew this
I think we had this
time.
very conversation last year.
Really did.
But I do think that would be reasonable. I'm not opposed to shopping around. I just think it was, hey, this is always how it's been done. I'm gonna make sure that it gets done so that we're not without insurance, but
12 whole months to do it.
yeah, right. But yes, I will mark that down that we should shop around for,
Well, there's only 2 places to go, so.
makes it easier, doesn't it?
All right, is there a motion to approve resolution 2026-30 regarding the insurance renewal?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other comments or discussion? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call. Mills?
Aye.
Buttigieg?
Aye.
Anderson?
Aye.
Benson?
Hi.
Shackleton?
Aye.
And Clissold is an aye. Motion carries. Okay, next item is regarding SBDC. I believe there's a recap in the deck, page 83. And Lucas, I forwarded to you a SMS from Rochelle maybe about 45 minutes to an hour ago. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did, yep. Was that something that we felt the need to, I can read it out if you'd like.
Sure.
Sorry, I was just afraid this would die on me. And it's the Zoom entity running the meeting, so.
I can read it. I can hear it if that's okay then.
Rochelle reported that July was fairly quiet, that she met with a few returning clients and helped answer some of their questions and worked through a number of smaller tasks, such as applying for an EDA business development grant and working on a federal tax ID number. And she didn't really have anything else that she felt was to be reported, so.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments regarding SBDC?
What does the number of jobs retained refer to?
Basically if you were a business that's in operations, and you have something that comes up, right? So, say you own a food establishment, right? And, something were to arise that would be disruptive to your business, right? Say it's like smoke and wildfire. And without support of some sort, in this case it would be the support of an SBDC consultant who might be able to help you do some financial planning or connect you with financial resources or the like, you may have had to lay off people. Then in the reports that SBDC puts forward, they can list those as jobs created versus jobs retained. Those would be jobs retained. Essentially, like if not for the efforts of the SBDC, these jobs may have been lost.
I see.
But frankly, that definition is pretty broad in terms of what counts as a job retained. I just wanted, that wasn't an exclusive example, that'd just be an example of what a job retained might represent.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll move on to item number 8, which is committee and commissioner reports. And the first one is the golf course. And we're going to close on the golf course this Friday. Terrific. I'll sign docs tomorrow, and Tracy's been kind enough to agree to do some notarizing. They'll get sent down to Duluth overnight, a day in advance of the closing. We are awaiting final settlement numbers from the title company. Most of the variables we know. The inventory is being finalized, and any outstanding closing costs are yet to be fully understood. But the bond payoff, of course, the sales price, the commission to the agent, they're all locked in. So we've got a pretty small band of variation at this point, God willing. But things have been moving at a pretty high tempo these last several weeks. I do want to acknowledge Commissioner Shackleton for all of his work, also Mike Larson. Fred Dutterer has been extraordinary through this process. So we're just about there. We'll be able to take a bit of a sigh at the end of the closing, but then we have to get back on the saddle because we've got, of course, septic and irrigation to get properly bid and ultimately installed. So that's the golf course.
Hello. Thanks to your work too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd tell you it was a labor of love, but I would be lying. Right to say. So.
And all of a sudden, we all get struck by lightning.
Any questions regarding the golf course?
This is just wonderful. That's not a question, but I'm still sometimes amazed that we're actually sitting here having any kind of conversation like this. It's been so many years.
Yeah.
Sometimes progress feels surreal.
Okay, next item is Taconite Harbor. I don't know who wants to chime in on Taconite Harbor.
I don't think we have anything to update, do we?
I think the only thing we're missing is I was gonna double check with you, Lucas, but we talked about we would go back to the Schroeder Township Board and meet.
Yes.
And I kinda let that go because of some other stuff, and so maybe I'm too late, but like, does September sound good, or wait farther out to meet with them? If a few of us wanna go out there?
I can reach out and see if they will avail September to us, and then we can close the loop with you guys, and if not, are you available to do either September and October, or September or
Yeah.
October?
Yeah,
I can't remember their meeting time, so.
Yeah, I
But
can't
it's in the
either.
evening, and I think, is it Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah, I don't remember either, but I can let you know. But if September does work, I'm happy to try to quarterback that and get us over there. I think that would be good and appropriate.
yeah, I think that would be really good to.
The other thing, and I had this written down for an update under director's report, but I may as well discuss it now if it's okay. One of the things that we discussed in the Taconite Harbor Committee is seeking an economic impact analysis relating to the plan that Stantec had presented. I want you to know that I've gotten a proposal
Nice.
from Northspan on that, and it came in one, too late to be on this agenda anyway, but two, I think that the committee should review it first and decide if we would like to seek more additional proposals, if we would feel comfortable with that. But I want you to know that we have a proposal that I think would do a nice job for an economic impact analysis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Grant Review Committee. Anything you wish to?
This next deadline is September 2nd, so that's the third and final review cycle for this year. And we have a meeting set up to begin that process shortly thereafter.
Are there currently applications in hand?
We've gotten 4 applications in hand up to this point, yeah.
Well, one thing is that's it for the committee. I just wanted to revisit just the 2025-2026 grant spreadsheet. This is more of just a housekeeping note. We have some grants that contracts have expired and projects are complete, and I believe contracts read the final reports due within 30 days of project completion or by the contract expiration date. So if we have contracts that have expired, the report is due by that date, so the expiration of the contract date. And I think there's 2 in there right now that have since expired, project is complete, the contract is over, and we haven't gotten a report yet. So I think we've had one other submit a report 2 months after the project was completed, but we need to tighten it up. I think the language means 30 days after project completion or by contract expiration date, whichever one happens first. So right now, we have contracts that have expired, but no report that's due. It's essentially due by the contract expiration date. So I would just maybe look into that a little bit. I think we got 1 out of 3 that were outstanding. We still have 2 that have contracts that have expired, and the reports are essentially past due at this point. So either change the contract language to make it one or the other, or we enforce what we're asking people to comply with it at time of approval.
Sounds reasonable.
My sense is that we need to put into place a system. So I've said this before, it would be really helpful if it was an automated system, so it didn't require the director to remember whatever to poke people, but there should be an automated, like, okay, now you do this step, email that they get. Now you do this step, now this thing happens. And one way we also can do that would be like the thing that I've advocated for before, that there's like kind of a public service element to it, or a public documentation to things. So a way to get out the word about what the EDA does and how the EDA does it, follow-up stories, that people have welcomed the opportunity to do when we've asked, like WTIP or the Cook County Herald or the public school system or Cook County Higher Ed, to engage those people. So I think it's a systems issue as well as enforcement, right? The goal is learning from the process and using that information to improve our success and the success of businesses here. I would say more so than compliance per se.
Sure, no, agreed. I mean, compliance, the reports are very important in that they contribute to our database of statistics. So
Yeah.
a presentation to the kindergartners isn't going to yield the same sort of factual information that we can refer back to and say we've generated this amount of impact. I'm not saying they're different or not as important, but to start building our records of how this program is impacting businesses statistically, then the reports are where those come in. Either way, that's something in the future. I'm saying right now we're operating under this, and we can certainly in our next few weeks of revisions continue to explore that idea, which we've all agreed has been, it's a good idea to supplement the 1 year and 5 year reports as well.
Yeah, and I guess I'm just saying that systematizing the communication around it so that
Yeah.
it just happens out of a prompt.
Yeah.
We put the information in one time, and then it sends those things out.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, with 2025, we got out of 15 grantees, we're missing 3 reports, so it's still pretty good return. I'm just saying we're past that mark now, so there's a little cleanup to do. That's it.
Good, thank you. HR committee, I guess rather dormant right now. Okay. And finance, regarding finance committee, anything further from the county regarding budget timing?
I had the opportunity to meet with Kristen yesterday evening to talk through some of the EDA in relation. We've not yet been told when the county wants us to go and defend the budget. Expect that will be later, although I think Dave will know more. But I think you guys have a committee of the whole meeting, or are about to get your reports from your budget review committee, right? They're scored.
We had committee of the whole today, we didn't have that, but there is a workshop next Monday.
Is it next Monday? I knew it was.
So
I
that
just knew it
might be our.
was, where you're going to get the scorecards
That
for.
part I don't know. But I'll look and see if I have details there.
Because it's not too early, I suppose, to start putting together that narrative story specific to the grant program, and more specifically still, some of the testimonials and good news stories.
And I had a chance to sit down with Alex this morning, and that was something that he encouraged and I agree with. So what my intention is ahead of defending the budget before the county, I'm going to put together a survey and send it out to all past recipients of business development grants, and see if we can get some reports back on how it impacted their business, what good things that they have to say about it, and then potentially, if 1 or 2 of them would be willing, to invite them to maybe tell that story in person to the county commission. So I think that's a really good idea, but yes, I do think it's appropriate to start working on a narrative, and if any of the EDA commissioners would like to have input on that, or have things that they feel very strongly should be included in that narrative, I'm happy to take that under advisement.
Great, thank you. Mark, anything else from, regarding finance?
No, I have nothing to add, thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, Lucas, I'll turn it over to you for anything you haven't covered yet from an executive director standpoint.
Sure, I just have a couple of quick things. The first one is, and I will put this as an agenda item on the next meeting as a discussion point, but this is sort of your acknowledgement that I'm gonna do it for the next meeting, is I want you all to have the homework of reviewing, and I will email it to you directly after this, the strategic plan. Because next year is the last year that that's valid for. What I would like between this meeting and the next is for you all to read through it, so that we can come into the next meeting to have an open discussion about, first of all, how we've measured up against that plan, knowing that we're coming near to the end of that, but also to say what about that plan felt good, what felt lacking, and if, as we go into the process of re-upping the plan, how can we do better next time? Who did we not get input from that we should get input from, and how would we like to handle the process? And then the second, sort of primary deliverable, although I would advocate that we keep it in-house this time and not hire a consultant, is does this board want to hire a firm to manage this process of creating a strategic plan as we have in the past, or would we like to try keeping it in-house so that we know how to plan? But I just want to put that on there. We can have that discussion the next meeting, and then going into next year, I would like to take the first 6 months of next year to plan and get the next strategic plan put into place, because that one will sunset at the end of 2027. So just wanted to tell you, and I wanted to get out way ahead of it so that we've got ample time to review it. But
So you'll send us an email with.
I will send an email with the last
So there'll be no
plan and yes, so that everybody can come to the next meeting prepared. Just a little bit of homework there.
Okay,
The other thing that I wanted to bring back up, because I know it's been brought up in passing, is the concept of board trainings. And I'm wondering, just as a question to you all, first of all, do you want your board trainings related to only best conduct as it pertains to being a member of a public board? Or would you like some amount of training as what EDA means, in other words, or like how best practices relating to economic development as it's understood elsewhere, or some mixture? I wanted to get that sense because my hope is that over the next couple of EDA meetings, we can plan out starting next year, how to do a kind of an actual slate of board trainings.
So I think the option would be great. I think in my past experience with different sort of trainings is that when I'm given the option to choose what I participate in, especially if it's like an online thing, I will select things that I'm interested in, and I'm more likely to participate and complete it and learn something rather than being subject to mandatory topics on this and this. So maybe there's some core principles we can agree on to everybody explore as a group, and then maybe perhaps there are some options to pursue different avenues within some parameters that you come up with to, I don't know, broaden our horizons a bit, what we're most interested in. Just a thought.
And yeah, you guys don't necessarily have to have any answers for me on that either. I just wanted to put that plug out. Tell me specifically what you want on a slate, and then I can put that together for you, put your course list together.
Yeah, I would say that probably the priority would be just public meeting law, and just basics around that. I mean, I don't think we necessarily need like etiquette training, but just what it means and what we are personally liable for and that sort of thing, because I think that's important for boards to know.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's, in my mind, priority number one, because that's where our liability would be.
Sure.
But to be a more productive board, I think the EDA specific training could go a long ways. I'm trying to even think what that means. Like I go to little breakout sessions in our conferences, and so I get snippets of things, but I'm really curious about that, so I would like to learn more.
Well, those are good comments. Boards function in different ways, and maybe this one's a little more casual than others. I personally would not be super interested in spending 8 hours and to come out as an expert on meeting rules. But I think a touch on responsibilities of a public board, I'll give you that. I think it's quite valuable and important. The small or strong towns curriculum that you shared with me, I still haven't digested all of it because it goes on forever. But that's the sort of thing that can give a person an understanding of economic development more broadly and to open up avenues that maybe hadn't been considered before, which is something I think Commissioner Anderson does a great job of kind of enlightening us on the broad scope of economic development. And strong towns, I think, did that differently, but also does that. And that's I think something we can
I've shared
benefit
strong
from.
towns with everyone before. I'm a big fan. I agree.
Anyway, just food for thought, and we can keep refining that out. But I think it would be good, especially if we're going into next year. We've got new board members, and just with all of that, I think it would be good to ensconce. It doesn't have to be super in depth. Probably don't need 8 hours, but just a regular regimen of annually. Couple of refresher courses, and then maybe for new members a slate of not required but highly encouraged. Here's economic development 101. Here's how to think about this, or not not tell you exactly how you should think about it, but what is generally considered to be best practice, and so on and so forth. So anyway, just wanted to bring that up. The other one that I wanted to discuss is Peter and I had a chance to talk with representatives of Northland SBDC primarily about the EDA's relationship with Northland. We're getting close to where we'd be re-upping our pass-through contract there. And one of the principal takeaways that we had was if the EDA is going to remain in an oversight role over a consultant that we sort of select and have that it would be very useful for the EDA director to be sort of read in and trained in on the SBDC stuff, such that I would be able to go in on the back end and review it. So that even though it would be sensitive information that wouldn't necessarily be fit for public consumption, that at least that level of oversight could exist. And I think that that's a very good idea. And as we go into proposing a renewal of contract, I'm guessing that it would be good for us to include something like that as one of the provisions of that contract. But I wanted to put that before you. We're not necessarily ready. They haven't put out a request for updated proposals, but they will soon. And that's something that came out of a conversation that we had, that it would be good to, again, if the EDA is going to continue in an oversight role over an SBDC contract, that the director have some oversight of that. So I just wanted to put that out there to think about. Happy to take discussion on that, but I just wanted to bring it up. The other thing, great news, the coal impacted communities, the consortium, 5 counties that I told you, we've now been invited to apply formally, and sounds to me like we're almost certainly going to get an award. Which means that we're going to need to, or the EDA is going to need to find a community partner, which I'm certainly hoping is Cook County Higher Education, although be open to other suggestions, who'd be willing to manage some workforce training for us and identifying some need and building out some programming. The one thing that I do know at this juncture is that originally we thought that Cook County might be able to receive $40,000. It's looking like it'll be $20,000, but that's still not nothing. I mean, that's some programming, so that's exciting. We still do have to formally apply, but we've gotten the email, and I've got a meeting scheduled with the other EDA directors of the other counties to actually begin that process here at the end of the week. So that also means that in September I will need a resolution giving me permission to apply, but it's too late again to get it on this meeting, but they'll be okay. So just so that you guys are aware, but that's exciting. And I think that's everything. I had Taconite Harbor economic impact analysis, but we've already discussed, so.
In regard to the SBDC thing, I really like that idea, and oversight great. I just think there's more integration there, and that was something we were are wanting, is just having that more complete picture, whether it's small business development or it's revolving loan fund, just having more of that complete picture, I think could be really advantageous and maybe more streamlined. So I'd really encourage that. And then Higher Ed is an excellent resource and an excellent host of all kinds of programming. Please also know that AEOA does job training. I'm not sure how much of a presence that part of AEOA has in Cook County. I think it's diminished significantly over the years. But then also there's an organization that goes by JET, but it used to be the Northeast Minnesota Office of Jobs, Training and Education. Jobs, Education and Training, something like that. Anyways, they do that, and mostly for St. Louis County, but that is something that Cook County is a part of. And I'm not suggesting that we go through them because it's almost like a whole other world attending those meetings, but just for resources or warnings regarding the pot.
Yeah.
It's good to be able to partner when we can, or else if you need to protect it for just our community, that's understood too. So.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'll take whatever list I can find, and then we can hear out some of those partners and see what, how because we're gonna have some flexibility, right?
Okay.
I think I mentioned this in the previous meeting. The other counties are gonna focus their interventions on formerly incarcerated individuals who are needing retraining and to be brought back into the workforce, develop some skill sets. My thought process was, given that we're a county of 5,000 people, that we probably don't have $40,000 worth of former incarcerated individuals that need training. And if we're going to go for something like this, we might have a higher impact by sort of retargeting towards something else, which means that all of the other counties have the benefit. They're going off of Otter Tail County's program that they put together, and they're just going to take that and pull it out. But Cook will have to kind of potentially do whole cloth, because I just don't think that there'd be the uptake in demand for it in a county of our size. So that's the thought process, but it functionally means that we're going to need to find a partner who says, "Yep, I know what kind of training would be useful and support it." So
Higher Ed would be great, I think.
Yeah, the Higher Ed would be the one. They have all that. And a willing partner typically to make sure it happens.
Yeah, and I fully support, I would go that route. I just wanted you to be aware of other maybe resources or competitors or whatever.
Yeah. Because you gotta always know the full possibilities.
Well, I do have one more thing to mention, which is I was asked by Carla at Deed to speak at the ETAC conference. Sorry, I had to go and look at what it was. The ETAC conference, to present on Taconite Harbor, to and the learnings and what came out of it, which I think is fantastic. I feel very honored. But that will be in the middle of next month. So just so you know that I'll be going to that, but I just also wanted to let you know.
And is that just like its quarterly meeting, or is it like an annual conference?
I should tell you. I'll forward you the.
I go to those, and so I'm just thinking like there are presentations, but I was not aware of like a conference per se. So I was just trying to. I can easily see you presenting at one of the meetings.
Well, so I will be doing that, and I apologize. I just thought of it as I was sitting here, like, I should actually mention that too. It's a nice feather in a cap,
awesome.
but yes, so that will be happening in the middle of the month, which is exciting, and it's a testament to the visioneering that the Taconite Harbor Advisory Committee has done, and the good work that Deed wants that shouted from the mountaintops and showcased. Yeah.
Well, she supported us and me, and that was the deal. Where are we going to get the money to try to move this forward? So.
All along the way.
Yeah, no, she's fantastic.
Any questions or any comments?
I do have questions. On the survey idea, it occurred to me that might be a good time to do the distribution of the plaques or whatever it is that we want them to have.
Sure.
So that could be face-to-face contact, like here's your plaque, and hey, here's the link that I need you to do this for. I think that relationship building can be helpful, and I remember Commissioner Bibi Guduce smartly pointed out that when I had sent out a survey for that question, I used my personal, well, I mean, it's my professional email, but it's not like that recognizable, so maybe it got screened from some people. Anyway, just you're new, making sure everybody knows you, and try to really grease the wheels with gathering information on things. And I'd be curious, I love Cook County Higher Ed, and I don't know how often they survey the community or how they get their information about what kind of training is most aptly needed and would be life-altering for the few people that we could support getting it. There's a lot of options now in terms of the kind of training that's offered, and yeah, I just always want more information to know, like, okay, if we can assess all these different things, how do we know what hole to put our finger in, you know? And so, for instance, the violence prevention organization here, that's something that came across my plate once, so I know a little bit about it, and I could say, wow, like that would be a really good thing to put our finger in that hole. But I wonder about that committee that we're not on, maybe you're on, the committee, the oversight group that you told me about, maybe.
Committee,
The,
county leaders?
it's like county leaders?
Yeah, that twice or 6 times annually.
Yeah.
Are you on that?
Yeah,
I see. So that's a good question for that group, maybe.
sure.
So you get the input from the hospital and the, you know, all the different pieces.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic to discuss with them. I will do that.
Good, thank you. Good.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Well, consistent with the approved agenda, I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 5:08 p.m. How's that?
Thank you, everyone.
See everyone on
Smart.
September the
Bye-bye.
15th.
Night.
Good one.
September.
How are you going to celebrate, Peter?
Yeah. Multiple days.
Lucas, I couldn't
Around
find,
golf?
I couldn't find whatever date that thing is. September 14th is my next.